Right, what have I got today? Bush. It's a small bush. Actually, it's not so much of a bush, that's more of a blip. So something very small today. I'll try and make this rapid. I always say that and it always ends up 20 minutes, but I really will try this time. Okay, so we are looking at the Dewalt, and it is the DT7505, and they are terming this a pivoting bit holder. So we all know what bit holders are. If you look at the, you know, I mean, this is just a very, very standard. This is like a hex press into a holder there with a magnet, and it's your holder, so it allows you to, in fact, here you go. So you wouldn't just stick a bit in here, would you? So what you do is you would get that and you would take a bit. So here's a nice little Torx T40 there, and you pop it in and you get on with your work and you get on with your day. However, there are different types. So you can have ones with a magnetic retention, for example. So in that regards, I have this is an impact resistant one. Some are, some aren't. So you need to check that if you're using something like an impact driver. If you're doing it by hand or you're using just a standard electric drill, you're probably okay. But I tend to go for the impact stuff because I generally use drivers. This one has a magnetic ring on it, and you can use it on fasteners and stuff. But it does exactly the same job. At the end of the day, they're used for holding a bit and then using that to do your work. So you would do that, and then you'd put that up, and then if you had like a, I mean, not a good example because that doesn't fit, but that would fit down and retain on that magnetic ring. You can get on with your work, boom, and then drive it in, and then that's forced back. So in this regard, you have come up with something that pivots. Now, what is the point of pivot? Well, the whole point of using a pivot system means you can get this into areas that sometimes you can't. Sometimes what you'll find is, especially with power tools, even with a driver, clearance. So let's say you're trying to drive something here, and you can't actually get in, or there's just no way you can get in. And what tends to happen is you sometimes look around, look over both shoulders, and you think, well, I hope no one's looking, and then you do that, you get lazy and you just drive it up at an angle. Not always the best thing, and you can't do that with certain metal fastenings and things that are pre-drilled. You certainly shouldn't be doing that. It's lazy, and in that regard, you're probably better off using a pivoting head. I did look at some stuff from, I think it was Vessel, but the postage on those was ridiculous. You stick it down below if you want. Let me know if anyone does have one of the pivoting heads from Vessel. Are they worth getting? I'll try and get hold of one somehow. But in this regards, this is the DT7505, and it actually comes with one posi head. And it's one of these heads with the torsion zone. Basically, it just means impact. So there's a tiny bit of flex in when the anvil's hammering around, and it prevents. I mean, it doesn't stop, but it prevents early sort of fracturing of these bits. I mean, the heads go over time anyway. As you can see, I've used this in testing, and already the coating's coming off. These are disposable bits, you know. I don't care, even if you go out and buy the Vera stuff and it's coated in diamonds, it's fantastic, impact proof. Yeah, that's all true, and the diamond helps it grip better, but they're disposable at the end of the day. But you generally don't want to think of bit holders being disposable. So what's the point of this? Well, it works as a normal one. So I shall show you. So if I pop this in the PB Swiss here, so it has your usual anvil there, which will go in the chuck of your electric driver there, or you can use it in the hand tool here, straight in. It's one solid piece until it gets to this section, and then you have a floating collar, and I'll show you that's floating because it will rotate. You see how that's rotating? So that rotates around. Then you have this section. There's a split link under here and a split link at the top, which allows you to position this floating section either at the bottom or the top. At the bottom configuration, it works as a straight shank. So you put your bit in. I will use the bit that they've supplied. So here's your posi 2. So it goes in, and it is magnetic. It's actually quite strong magnetic-wise. Look, very, very good. It's not up there with the PB Swiss tools, but this is like cheap. So Dewalt, generally you get a good bang for buck. So very, very strong magnet. Very impressed with that. Really, really good. Certainly slightly better than the Milwaukee, but this is, again, that's just a cheap head. So if you were wanting to drive that and you didn't have the clearance, you wanted to put it in an angle, what you do is you simply move this up. So if I can do it right, there you go. So you move that up. Now under here, you'll see that, remember I showed you there was a split ring there for retention up here, and there's a split ring here. So you can't keep it in that position. However, you need to pull, and then I'll give you a nice close view here. I've done this in 4K. There you go. And can you see what's happening there? In fact, look at the angle, watch. So look, I'll hold it, look. So you're able to get up to, from obviously parallel here, you're able to get up to a 20 degrees angle there and still work. So isn't that incredible? I think that's really handy. Yes, I realised before anyone says there's 90-degree heads you can get and all sorts. I realise that in low profile things, but just for something you can use for your impact, and then when you do need it, you can just go click, click, boom, right, get on with some work and go back to straight. I think that's quite good. I quite like that. It just means it's multifunctional. Now in here, you can see how that's working. It's angled away. And you may or may not see, I'll try and angle it so you can get plenty of light there. There's quite a bit of grease in there. I like that. They haven't stuffed just a tiny little bit of oil in. You can see it there coming out. It's black. So they've actually put proper grease in, which is right for like gears and things like this, where there's a bit of space and you want it to stick around. The only problem you may get with that is you'll get iron filings and dirt and stuff. Just be careful, you know. Other than that, what else can you do? You could probably blast it out with WD-40 maybe and scrunch it down, but I haven't had any problems yet on the limited testing that I have done. But I quite like that design. So if I pop that back, boom, and then it works. In regards to the head that they give you, there's a tiny bit of play. I mean, this is a brand new, I'll just show you there, brand new posi, and you can tell it's a posi by the markings. So you've got the cross design, but then there's a little bit of bite in at the cardinal points, so north, south, east and west there. So with those, and I realise there's people watching this who say, I never use posi, I'm from North America or whatever, but you may well see them. So posi head has these extra blades. Really, I'd certainly think that is like a cross between a crosshead and a Torx, because Torx is designed not to cam out, and a crosshead or a Phillips will cam out, whereas this is limiting the cam out. It can cam out, but it limits it. So in that regard, there's a little bit of play. So if I pop this in a brand new, and this is a high quality fastener here, so if I hold this and then move this, so I'm putting my finger on there, you see the play? Quite a bit. I'm going around in 360 degrees. That's as far in as I can get it. So there's a little bit of play there. Does that affect it? It's certainly not, and I was able to use it, no problems. However, if you compare that to something like, I've got a little Milwaukee here, again, posi 2, and I'll just show you that there, posi 2, and it's got this torque zone or whatever the hell they call it for impact. Pop that in, all the way in. Let's look for play here. Tiny. In fact, is that's in. Let's just double check. Tiny. I'm trying here, so watch. See? Tiny. Whereas the other one, there was a larger circle. So I mean, I know something to slag off the Bosch bits and stuff like that, because they've gone down in my estimation. I think the Milwaukee are pretty decent at the moment. And Dewalt, excellent company, no problems with them, but just bear in mind there's a tiny little bit more play. So your discipline needs to be better. And when I talk about discipline, it means properly engaging, then doing it, and wait until it stops, then taking it out, because you get... I've done it myself. When you get tired and you become lazy, and then it starts grinding them down faster. But other than that, pretty decent. Geometry is absolutely fine. No problems with it whatsoever. So I used this, and I used it in a ratcheting screwdriver from PP Swiss Tools here. No problems, even at an angle. So if we do that, even at an angle, no problems. It works. I'll show you. There. Boom, perfect. And I did it with the, I think this is the M18. Yeah, the Milwaukee M18 driver. So what I'll do is, after this, I'll show you, I'll stick some footage in actually, just to show you. I do actually test these things. I just did some quick testing there just to show you. The footage wasn't really the best, so it's a bit sort of seasickness inducing. So you can turn off now if you can't be bothered with that, but I've put that at the end. So like I say, it's 1/4 inch, so it'll take all your 1/4 inch bits. That magnet's pretty decent. It's not the most powerful, but it's more than powerful enough. If you really care that much, go and get a lock-in head. You know, you can easily go and get yourself a lock-in head. So it's 6.3 mil, 1/4 inch in other words, and decent magnet. So the pros for this, I would say, are it's impact proof. It's Dewalt. I trust Dewalt. I've used many Dewalt products for many years. Excellent. I like the company. The magnet's pretty strong. This feels robust, and it's pretty decent. I mean, size-wise, let's just compare it. So there's a little cheeky standard Milwaukee there, very small one. So as you can see, big difference in size, but it needs this extra gubbins. And in regards to, and this is a magnetic ring impactor from Vera. So let's have a look at that. Not much bigger, you know. Yes, it hasn't got the ring section, but not much bigger, and you're able to get 20 degrees. So I really want to try the vessel stuff now. Would I carry this and none of the other driver bits? Probably not. I would expect this not to last as long as something like this, because once you introduce a moving part, or apart when there's a tiny little bit of play, and there is, look, see, that all adds up over time, and every time there's an impact, you know, it's going to wear on this possibly. So I probably don't think this will last as long as a standalone, but then it's giving you extra options, isn't it? So that's important. So I really need to give this a mark out of 10 before I get on and eat some chocolate. Let's have a think. So in fact, where's the box? There's the box. Boof. So this is how it came. Dewalt Extreme, and then you have a picture of an impact driver, which generally means, you know, you can use it in impact, because sometimes they'll say, you know, they'll put impact in the name. I'm not talking about DeWalt or the big brands, but some of these Chinese ones will say impact, but it's not impact rated, so just bear that in mind. This is, and they are terming this Flex Torque, which I think probably refers to the bit, so which you get one in there. And there you go, there's the little package if you want to see it, and that's the intended use, and I'll show you a video at the end. And then you get one posi head and magnetic, and then there's not a lot else on the end other than saying you must clap your hands, wear earmuffs, and what the hell's going on there, some sort of S&M. No, joking aside, you do have to wear safety equipment anytime you're using a power tool. Use safety equipment, you know, for longevity of your eyes and your hands and things like that. So I'll give this a mark out of 10. I will give this I'm very happy with it, actually. It was about let's have a think, about $6, about eight Great British pounds. So very impressed with the price. It's a name I trust. I like it. Pretty decent. Got a lot of confidence in this, and I will do a lot more testing, and I'll let you know if it falls to bits, but I doubt it because it's DeWalt. I love DeWalt stuff. Okay, so I'm going to give this a 9. I can't see any problems with this whatsoever. I mean, some people might say, what about a lock and head? It's going to end up more bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, it ends up like the Titanic. It's ridiculous. I'll give that a 9. Well done, DeWalt. If anyone knows about the vessel stuff, stick it down below and I will have a look. So, little bit of video coming up and I'm off. Goodbye. Time for some chocolate. Okay, let's have a look at this bit here. So, looks decent. Let's try it as a normal bit holder. Stick it in a ratchet here. Helps if you put a head in. So here's the head that it comes with, posi 2. Stick a posi 2 in. There's a posi screw. Let's have a shot of this. Head fits okay. Okay, works fine. Head's a little bit weird, but that's just the coating. That's absolutely fine. Okay, now if you want to use it at an angle, you flip this up, and then you get a 20 degree, well, up to a 20 degree anyway. So let's try that. Let's try it at a slight angle here. So let's get to the side so you can see. See that? Seems to work. Okay, that's not bad. But the question is, does it work in an impact driver? Because this is supposed to be impact proof. Let's give this a shot. So a quick, this is just an M18 fuel. So stick that in. We'll use it straight configuration. Okay, so let's try that. No problem, straight in, nice and deep there. Take it out. Again, head's pretty nice, it fits in okay. Impact proof, or should be. The whole thing's impact proof, so let's try that at an angle. So you need to disengage the collar. So there's your angle. Let's try that for its intended purpose. So if I come down a bit, here we go. So let's say for whatever reason this was coming all the way out and you don't have the clearance. Let's try this at a slight angle. Okay, so let's get as close as we can. There you go, look, that works. straight in, and then we'll try it coming out. Very impressed with that. Pretty decent.